Never buying an Insignia again might actually be the best thing Opel's ever done for you, because the next Insignia is turning into something completely different, and it might be the anti-SUV a lot of people have been waiting for. So, Opel killed the Insignia in 2022. No more sedan, no more wagon, game over. But behind the scenes, they've been cooking up a new flagship that could come out around 2025 or 2026. And even though everyone calls it the 2026 Insignia, this thing is not a normal Insignia at all. Instead of another long sedan that nobody buys anymore, Opel is going for a fastback crossover on the STLA Medium platform. Think something in between a sedan, a wagon, and a coupe, with a slightly higher ride and a big focus on aerodynamics and efficiency. If you've seen the Peugeot 408 or Citroën C5X, that's the kind of vibe we're talking about here. But this time, it's fully electric, and it wants to be the flagship of Opel's EV lineup. Now let's talk about the big question. If this Insignia successor really drops in 2026, what can you actually expect from it? First, it's built on Stellantis' STLA Medium platform. That's the new EV base for mid-size premium cars in the Stellantis group. So we're not talking about some small basic EV. We're talking about a proper D-segment electric fastback aimed at cars like the VW ID.7 or even the Tesla Model 3 and Model Y. Range is where it starts to get serious. On paper, this thing could do somewhere between 500 and 700 kilometers of WLTP range, depending on which battery you choose. That's roughly 310 to 435 miles. The base battery is expected to be around 73 kilowatt hours, and the bigger pack could go up to 98 kilowatt hours. So if Opel gets the aerodynamics right, that higher number could put it right up there with the longest range EVs in its class. Power options will also be pretty flexible. You'll likely get a single-motor front-wheel drive version as the entry model. That should be around 210 horsepower, which is more than enough for daily driving and highway cruising. But if you want something spicier, there should be a dual-motor all-wheel drive version, probably wearing a GSE badge. That one is expected to go over 320 horsepower. So we're not talking about some boring eco-box. Acceleration-wise, the numbers are not crazy like a Plaid, but they're still quick. You can expect 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, somewhere between 5.8 and 7.5 seconds, depending on which version you pick. The normal models will be more relaxed, but the all-wheel drive one will be properly fast for a family car. And remember, this is a mid-size crossover, not a tiny hatchback. Charging speed looks decent too, from 20% to 80% in about 27 minutes, with a charging rate of around 2.4 kilowatt hours per minute. That's not the absolute fastest in the world, but it's solid enough for road trips. You stop, grab a coffee, go to the toilet, and by the time you're back, you've got enough juice to keep going. Now, here's where this car really starts to stand out. Opel doesn't want this to be just another SUV. They're calling it more like an anti-SUV fastback. That means no big boxy shape, but also not a super low sedan that people struggle to get in and out of. The body will likely have a raised fastback profile, so you still sit a bit higher like people want today, but the roofline slopes smoothly to the back for better aerodynamics. Less drag means more range and less noise at higher speeds. Think of the Opel experimental concept. That's probably the closest preview of the silhouette. On the front, you can expect the new Opel visor face in a more advanced form. Not a standard grille, but a kind of 4D face. Behind that smooth panel, you'll have the sensors for driving assistance, plus an illuminated logo. No chrome, no shiny fake luxury bits. Instead, more lighting elements in clean surfaces. It's very much future EV instead of old-school sedan with a badge. The design will try to mix a bit of everything. From the side, it should look like a coupe with a sloping roofline. From the back, it should still feel practical like a wagon with a big opening for luggage. So you get style and practicality in one package. That's exactly the same direction we see with cars like the Peugeot 408 and Citroën C5X. So it fits the Stellantis strategy. Step inside, and Opel is pushing a new idea they call detox. Basically, they want to remove the clutter, reduce digital stress, and make the cabin simpler. So instead of throwing 50 menus, 200 buttons, and 10 screens at you, they want a clean layout that's easier to live with. On front of the driver, you'll probably see something called the Pure Panel Pro. That's a wide, curved dual screen setup. Think two large screens blended together showing your speed, maps, media, and settings, but they'll likely keep the design simple with less flashy graphics and more focus on clarity. On top of that, Opel is working on a huge augmented reality heads-up display. Instead of just a small speed number in front of you, this system can project navigation and key info across the lower part of the windshield. So turn-by-turn directions could appear as arrows on the road in your line of sight. That might mean you don't really need a traditional instrument cluster anymore. There's also a chance, maybe not at launch but later on, that this car might offer steer-by-wire technology. Opel has shown this in the experimental concept. With steer-by-wire, the steering wheel isn't mechanically connected to the wheels in the traditional way. It uses electronics and actuators instead. The cool part is that in autonomous modes or while charging, the steering wheel could fold away to give you more space. Whether that makes it into the first version of the car, we'll have to wait and see. So we've got the platform, the performance, the design, and the tech. But there's one big question left. What are they going to call this thing? Right now, there are two main options. Option one, they keep the Insignia name. Insignia has strong history in the D segment as Opel's big family car and company car. People know it, so it would make sense to use that name for the new flagship, even if the body style is totally different. Option two, they bring back a legendary badge, the Manta. That name has been rumored for years for a sporty electric model. If Opel wants this new fastback to feel more dynamic, more emotional, and more EV sports crossover than business sedan, Manta would fit perfectly. It instantly gives it more character and ties back to Opel's old coupe heritage. So, will we see a 2026 Opel Insignia, or will we see a Manta EV, or maybe even a completely new name? At this point, Opel hasn't confirmed it, but what's clear is this: the old Insignia as we knew it is gone. The new flagship is going to be electric, higher, sleeker, and a lot more future-focused. In terms of rivals, this car isn't going into an empty market. It's walking straight into a fight. The main target from Germany will be the Volkswagen ID.7. That's Volkswagen's electric answer to the Passat and Arteon, and it already offers big space and strong range. Then there's Tesla. Depending on final price and size, this Opel will sit somewhere in between the Model 3 and the Model Y. Tesla still has the edge in charging network and software, but Opel will try to answer with design, comfort, and that detox interior. Plus, some buyers simply want something different from yet another Tesla on the road. Inside its own Stellantis family, there's also the Peugeot E408. That car is basically the style twin in some ways. Same fastback crossover idea, same platform family, but Opel will aim to feel a bit more clean, a bit more German, and a bit less French flair. So, if this 2026 Opel flagship launches as expected, here's what you're looking at: a mid-size electric fastback crossover on the STLA medium platform, range between 500-700 kilometers WLTP, battery choices from around 73 to 98 kilowatt hours, single motor FWD or dual motor all-wheel drive with up to 320 plus horsepower, charging from 20 to 80% in under half an hour, and a design that tries to kill the boring SUV shape while keeping the comfort and space people want, and an interior that wants to calm you down instead of overwhelm you with tech. Whether Opel calls it Insignia, Manta, or something completely new, this car will be a big statement for the brand. If they get the price, range, and design right, it could be one of the most interesting electric alternatives to the usual Tesla and Volkswagen choices. The Manta.